Happy Friday and Happy New Year. We're almost there. I know that some people in our community are already celebrating New Year as the clock ticks around the globe. I'm so excited that we're able to get together. It's a bit of a rainy day here, but I'm excited. I actually made a little bit of a trip out to a local like metaphysical shop because I needed to get a green chime candle. So today, part of what I'm going to share with you, I see JD's here. I just left you a Marco Polo recently. I don't know if you've seen it yet. Jen and I talk to each other almost every day, if not every week, a couple of times anyway. I just left you like a long polo about this thing. But anyway, I'm going to share with you guys what I've been doing over the last couple of New Years for like a money manifestation thing. It's not anything like I learned from someone else, just something I kind of made up, but it has really worked for me. And I was sharing with Jen. Oh, you watched it. I feel like it was so all over the place. It was like, hold on. So I actually have written down my process today to make it a little bit more clear. But it's so uncanny because for the past 2 years now, and this will be the third year, I have done this money manifesting spell and I have made almost to the dollar the exact amount of money that I put on this candle. So I had to go get a new green candle. You don't have to have a green candle if you like want to do this tonight. I'll kind of show you some things that you can do if you don't have like a green candle, but you want to do this. You can use any kind of just plain white candle or anything like that. Or we do have the new moon coming up on Sunday, I think. Sunday, Monday, somewhere early in the week. Somebody let me know in the comments which day it is. I can't remember. And that is a great way to start out the first quarter of the year and to get that good energy flowing. So if you don't have everything that you wanted to do tonight, you can maybe get some of this stuff in before next week and then use that new moon energy to kind of start off your year. But either way, Happy New Year. Is it Angelia? Is that how you say it? That's such a beautiful name. Maya says, I love your spiritual side. I'm so excited to share this with you guys because it has really worked. Okay, Sunday. So everybody's saying Sunday. So we've got the new moon is coming up. New moon in Capricorn is coming up this Sunday. And so that is a good time to do it as well. But I went into this shop and I was like, I'm going to get one candle. So it's like $1 to get this candle or whatever. And I ended up buying several things because it was so cool. And one of the things that I got was this fluorite bowl. I don't even feel like the beauty of it is going to completely come through on camera, but Jen actually got me this fluorite for Christmas a few years ago, and fluorite is a stone that can have in multi colors. Like sometimes it's very purple, sometimes it has this kind of aqua color. I think rarely it can be like a bright blue or even a yellow sometimes, but most of the time you see it this kind of dark purple or the sort of aqua color. But look how beautiful this is. I just love it. So I'm very excited about it. It's a very small bowl made of fluorite. So I'm going to use this for my little ritual tonight. And then I also got a sunstone, like little point. And I got something for you, Jen. So I'm not going to show that. And then I also got a garnet, which it looks black, but it's actually reddish colored. And then I bought a couple other candles. I have never had, it does match my nails, you're right. I've never had a gold chime candle and I don't even know like what it typically is used for. So I had to look it up and it says a lot of times it's used for like achieving enlightenment and things like that. So I might use it anytime I'm doing like visualization. And then I also got, final thing was I got this root chakra candle, which is a grounding candle, which is what I'm really mostly working on right now. And so I thought that was kind of cool, but it was really neat. Do you want to stay in Texas for next year? So we are looking for house. So if you've been following, I know some of you follow me in both places, but I've been sharing a little bit of our house hunting this past week in my Heart Breathings Instagram stories. So I think some of them might still be up, but actually they're probably gone already. I'm not sure. But I went to look at 2 different houses in Texas, and I think we're really feeling drawn to this area because we can be near a big city where you've got, all the big things that you have in a big city, but we can also get acreage where we can have chickens and grow, just like grow things and have warm, like I have to live in a place where it doesn't snow. So that kind of eliminates a big part of the country. I cannot, like, occasional snow, like once every few years is fine with me, but I just don't do well in snow. So it's like I know I need to be in the southern states, but we want to be in a state where we can be very close to a big downtown area, but also be able to like raise chickens and have land of our own. So that house, yes, I see several of you were watching those stories yesterday. That house was absolutely beautiful, but then my realtor talked to the homeowners association, and they don't allow any kind of chickens or anything like that. So even though it was almost 2.5 acres, there would be no chickens. So I'm not sure that's like a complete deal breaker, but I did want to talk about this just a little bit because this is a big shift that has happened. Mason says, but snow is the best. Snow is the best for some people who love snow. I love to look at snow. It's beautiful, but I just don't do well in cold weather. But and I don't mind the heat. So that's just me. I know everybody's different, but I feel like last year at this time, we obviously we were putting together our plans for moving into a brand new house, and we were building that house, and everything looked very different. Evie was only a year old, and we were thinking about packing up, starting to move into this new house, come summertime and all this stuff. And then obviously that didn't work out. And our whole year has gone kind of in a different direction than what we intended or thought that it would. But I just know and I feel the whole way through that we are being guided, and that I'm on a journey. It's like, if you believe that life can go in cycles. Obviously we have one big cycle with birth and death, birth, life, and death, but there are miniature cycles that we go through just the same way that people or like the seasons change and the moon goes through its phases. We all go through phases as well. And I feel like I've known for a while now that I'm coming to the end of a certain phase in life, and that in order for me to move next, to the next piece or the next stage of the journey, I have to grow with it. And so I think we're turning our eyes toward a life that is a little bit more balanced in terms of over the past year. Yes, and the end of the series. Exactly, Adriana. It's like it's all just comes together. It's like I'm finishing this series. I'm coming to a change, like a life change. I truly spent like so much. I can't even explain to you how many years of my life just thinking about wanting to have children, and specifically hoping someday that I could have a daughter. Not that I don't love my son just as much, but I just always wanted to have that relationship, mother-daughter relationship. And now it's, that's also a transition, as my baby is not a baby anymore. And we're, moving to that different stage in life where it's like, now we're raising humans instead of thinking about trying to get pregnant or, all of those types of things that consumed so much of my life in the past. But also over the last over the last 2 years, we have gone from a lot of our careers and our lives being online, and then another portion of our lives being the people that we see, the things we go out and do, to having so much of our lives online. And though I am extremely grateful for the online communities, as I got faced towards the end of this year with basically online bullying, it started to make me understand that so much of my self-worth and my life is online, that it was getting to a level where it wasn't healthy for my mental health. And so next year is going to be all about getting myself back to that place of good mental health, understanding that I do have a life outside of what people say about me online. And I know that that's just a normal thing, but it's just the more my life went online and the more visibility I was starting to get on social media and YouTube and things like that, the more I started, I think, to equate my own sense of self-worth with what are people saying? What's the criticism coming about? And it started to bother me more and more. And so, yeah, so there's a big thought right now about boundaries, self acceptance, self love. Get exactly, Laura, right here, like getting back to that place of acceptance and looking for joy. And this is something I feel like is not like a one and done kind of thing. I've been through this cycle before. I have had to pull myself off of that before, but then you hit a new level and you have to kind of pull yourself back yet again to that reminder that life is so much more than just online or what other people think of you, or, even you are so much more than what you do and what you put out in the world. You have a soul and a worth outside of what you do for other people or how other people perceive you. And I think that that's what I'm going through right now, is kind of remembering that. So, for those of you that were not watching some of my heart breathing stuff, there's two things that I've done, and I'm going to kind of mention this just to maybe inspire some of you if you've been feeling that kind of thing, to setting boundaries and really thinking about how can I arrange my schedule and how can I arrange my daily life to be taking care of myself even more than I have in the past, and particularly my sense of self-worth, my confidence, that kind of thing, so that I can move on to this next stage of life. Hi, Tina. Hello from Ireland. That's so exciting. So when do you guys, so I think some of you, you're already right, like into like 9 something PM or more. So getting close to that midnight. So thank you for joining me here live, because I know it's getting close. I think somebody, maybe it was Summer, asked, did we know the price of that house in South Carolina, just to kind of close that loop. So they still, after all this time, we found out we had to move in July, and that they weren't going to give us our house. They still have not been able to same prices for those houses. So there's 13 houses there that are all completed and no one's living in them, because it all went into a lawsuit, and George and I decided not to go into the lawsuit and instead to just leave. But they still owe us a price, like we're still like first right of refusal, and they still haven't given it to us. So I think we made the right choice. 9:15 in the UK, so exciting. And the housing market is super crazy. Yes, like the house we went to see on Wednesday is already under contract. So it's like there were like 4 offers or something already by the time we went and looked at it. It was crazy. But one thing that I'm doing to set some boundaries for myself is, as a business present to myself, like my business bought for me this. I bought an iPhone. I did not trade in my Samsung phone. I just also bought an iPhone. And the reason is because this is going to be my business phone, and I am transferring all of my social media apps and all of my business emails and that kind of thing onto this phone. It's really beautiful. It's gold. It's really nice. I've never owned an iPhone before, but the reason I got an iPhone was because there are apps that you can use for business, like for filters and Instagram apps and posting apps and different stuff like that, that you can't get in the Android store. So I thought, well, this way I can have both. I have my Samsung that I've always had, like almost always use the Samsung, and then I've got my iPhone. But I'm going to move all of my business work onto here, and this phone will be turned off. The goal is to turn it off every day at 5 p.m. and then in the morning when I get up, not turn it on until maybe 10 a.m. So those will be kind of be my like business hours. And other than that, I'm not going to find myself laying in bed. And you can see I've got, like George calls it, my planner nest. I still have planner nesting stuff all over the bed, but I am not going to be finding myself at 10 p.m. instead of gaming or spending time with George or watching TV shows or stuff like that. Sometimes what I've been doing is I'm still answering emails about the course and still trying to help people out and do customer service stuff at 10 p.m. at night on a Saturday. And although I love being able to answer people's questions and help them out, I find it very difficult for myself to set those boundaries of not answering questions or answering emails as they come in, because I feel like, well, they need to know. Somebody, if somebody has a question about the course, I need to answer it right away. But that's like another thing about my own self-worth, is like that's like sending a message to my own brain saying, you are not good enough to have time to yourself where you're not working. And so this is a very big step for me. And there is some fear surrounding that because there is this fear that, like, if I don't get back to people as quickly, then they won't want to sign up for my courses. But I know that that stuff is not true. I think most people don't expect an immediate answer, but it's just something in my head that tells me, like, I've got to answer right away because I want to help. And so I think it's going to be very, very good for me. But yes, I think that it is super important to, like LA says, set that alarm with a little, really loud ring. And it may be that so we've got Publish and Thrive is coming up, launching at the end of January. It may be that during those 5 weeks of the course, I do have one time at night that I check in just to answer quick emails or things that come through just from my students, but otherwise not. And I will be hiring, I've talked about this before, my first full-time employee. And so when that comes through and I hire that amazing person, then I'm going to also have somebody else that is helping me to keep those boundaries a little bit better during the day so that I don't have to be checking my email all the time. So that you can do this on Android too, that you can set, I don't know if they call it downtime, but you can do that stuff, but I'm not very good at it. I have tried multiple times to take Facebook off my phone, to set those boundaries of, like, these are my work hours and so forth. You can do it on at least on a Samsung anyway. You can, I think you can do it on all Androids as well as iPhone, but then I turn it off. So I figure maybe this way, having 2 separate phones will actually help me to say, okay, this phone goes off. Maybe, like somebody mentioned, give it to George to lock away. Maybe I give it to George, he locks it away, and then I just can't check it because I am taking Facebook, Instagram, all of that stuff off my phone. So if you're used to seeing me respond to things at 11 o'clock at night, you're going to see that sort of change. And, with this type of business, because I feel like we're friends, it doesn't always feel like work to be, like, chatting with somebody on Instagram at night. But I also feel like for my own self-worth and self-love, I have to find a place to set those boundaries. So that's one of the things that I'm doing. Not just me then. Exactly. I have tried setting, like, limits, like you can only have 30. Oh my gosh, Summer. Yes, it is on its way. For the love of God, get a case. You can see I don't have cases on either one of these. There is a case coming for this. I promise it is coming. But yeah, I have done things like that. And yes, exactly. So Roseanne says, you teach people your hours. If you respond at 11 p.m., they'll keep expecting you to do that. And that is true. And I have done that before, that I've answered, been answering things late into the night and so forth. And so I'm going to try to be more upfront with people that, like, these are my business hours and I will get back to you as soon as I can, during these business hours. And I think that that will be helpful for me. And there might be a point later in the future where I can, go back to doing some of that, like, more immediate customer service. Oh, Jenny, hello from Australia. It's already 2022 for you, isn't it? Oh my gosh. Happy 2022. Happy New Year. So exciting. So yeah, I think that it's really going to be good for me to do that. Another thing that I'm doing, I don't know, it's all the way over there underneath this little satchel, but I have I'm doing something new with my schedule. And I don't know if I told you guys specifically about this. So I thought it would be kind of fun. And then I'm going to show you my little money ritual if you want to get ready for that. An autoresponder is a good idea too. So one of the things that I'm doing is, when I plan for my HB90 for the quarter, for the next 90 days, I usually set up an ideal weekly schedule. And that ideal week is usually a mix of things. I'll be making videos, I'm doing live streams, I'm writing, I'm answering emails, I'm doing all that stuff. But this time I'm going to try to lean into my strengths a little bit more. And what I'm going to do, or I'm going to try, and I will keep you guys updated how it goes, is I have created 3 potential schedules, and each week will be one of those 3 schedules. So one potential schedule is a batching week, and that is what next week is going to be. So a batching week is where I batch create loads and loads of content. So I'm going to try in 1 week to create 10 YouTube videos. And so that's going to be an entire week of creating videos, creating social media pictures, stuff for Instagram, and scheduling some of that stuff out. And I think that that is going to be super helpful for me because I am somebody who, let me know in the comments if you feel like you're the same way. Not everybody's like this, but where once you get focused on something, you could do it for a very long period of time. Like if I'm working on videos, I could do, an entire week of videos and really, really enjoy it. And I don't necessarily like to switch around a lot of tasks, but for some reason, that's how I've arranged my schedule because it needs to get all those different things done, right? So I've been trying to just do a little bit of everything every week. Yay, Diane, hyper focus too. Charlotte, Hannah, yes, exactly. So it's one of those things of like allowing myself to hyper focus and say I'm going to get as like the entire quarter of YouTube videos done all in 1 week. Now, I don't think that I can do like 13 videos and get them all edited, but I can at least get them recorded and outlined and all of that stuff. So I think that's the main thing I'm going to do is batching for next week. And that'll be the main thing that I do during those weeks. The second week that I have is what I'm calling a normal week. So the normal week is really heavy on self-care, learning, and admin type tasks. So those are things like working on my newsletter type things because my Sarah Cannon newsletter, for those of you that are on my newsletter for Sarah Cannon, you haven't heard from me since probably maybe I sent something out when October Spooktacular was starting, but I think I've sent maybe 3 emails, maybe 4 this year. And most of them were telling you that my book was delayed. I've just never been really good at, it's like I preach it, I tell you how to do it and Publish and Thrive, but I just don't have a good email list when it comes to Sarah Cannon. Heart Breathings, that email list is like boom, boom, boom. It's great. I've got to work on my Sarah Cannon fan email. And so that'll be those kind of things like fan email. I'm going to be reading more. I have a bunch of courses that I've signed up for that I have never finished taking that I actually really want to finish taking. So that'll be like the learning in me. And yes, Vengeful Darkness was the last one that has been out. And I'm working on book 12. So I'll kind of update you guys on that a little bit today. And so I'm going to have those weeks where it's like heavy on the learning, the admin task, catching up with the email, making sure my like scheduling out all that content that I created before. And those will be kind of less busy weeks in terms of hyper focus, but they'll be like heavy administrative weeks. Then the third type of week is a drafting week. And this is where I'm basically going to, and I will be probably batching for the email list too. The drafting week is going to be what it sounds like. I'm going to be calling it probably book in a week or something along those lines where or maybe I'll just call it a drafting week where I'm going to so many of you I know are familiar with Becca Syme. She is a strengths coach and a success coach for authors. She has a really great podcast and YouTube channel called The Quit Cast. And she has a book called Dear Writer, You Need to Quit. I think it's like Dear Writer, multiple books that she has. But I got a chance to sit down and have some intense conversations with her at NINC when I was doing that conference. And we kind of were talking about something that might be very helpful for me. And what she recommended for me was, since I like going on writing retreats and just kind of putting on my blinders and hyper focusing on the book, and that's when I really, really get the majority of my writing done, to kind of simulate. What's that word? Am I saying that word correctly? A hotel kind of writing retreat week, even though I'm here at the house. And so I've created a schedule where I would be able to tell George, like, okay, he's going to be cooking all the meals this week. He's going to be heavy taking care of the kids this week. And I'm going to basically be shutting myself in this office, or we have multiple places because we're in an apartment complex here that we're going to be doing, I've got multiple places that I could go out and write by the pool, or I could go write in the little coffee area or whatever, and actually spend as much time in 1 week writing as much as I can in a week. So I'm hoping to do 3 drafting weeks every single quarter, and then 2 batching weeks every quarter, and the rest will be normal weeks. So I know that's for some people, it might sound kind of complicated. I probably will be doing a video about this when I set up my Kanban board. So I have all my sticky notes made, but I haven't actually put them up on the board because I'm going to be recording it. I love Becca too. I just think she's brilliant, and if you're a writer, I highly recommend checking out her work because she is amazing. So that's kind of my plan moving into the new year. My hope, and I always hesitate to say anything about my expectations of writing because I obviously have fallen short, like far, far short in the last couple of years. But I am proud. I did publish 2 books this year. So that's better than the year before. So we're making progress. But my goal is to publish 4 books a year. And I don't know that I'll get there this year, but if I can, I did 1, then I did 2 last year. If I could do 3 this year, then maybe I can make it to 4. And I would ideally like to be writing 4 every year. So Becca's last name is Syme, Syme, Becca Syme. And you can find her here on YouTube. And I think I'm trying to think of her email or her website, I think is called Write or Better Faster Academy. Is that what it's called? If anybody has that link to her, either her YouTube channel or her website, go ahead and post that for us if you can. Yeah, look up the Quick Cast. She's awesome. So I am going to still be doing NaNoWriMo stuff. I'm going to be doing, hopefully, I'm going to be doing most of what I was continuing to do last year. Right now, we're going to keep on in the new year with our Friday coffee chats. And then whenever I get to finishing up, not only when book 12 is done, and then whenever I'm working on The Witch's Door, we will go back to reading that here on YouTube, but I don't know when that will be. But talking about book 12, I am not anywhere near where I'd hoped to be on this book. And to be honest, it's just been too difficult for me to be hyper creative with other things that have been going on. It turns out when people are saying really mean things about you on the internet, it can be very difficult to focus on like your writing. So that is kind of where I have been, but I'm getting better. I'm getting the help that I need to deal with my anxiety. And so I'm hoping that I will be having my first drafting week where I'm going to hopefully batch the rest of this rough draft here in this month. So hopefully by the end of January, I will at least have a little better idea of when this book will be coming out. And if that happens, then I will get a chance to actually tell you guys the title of the book and maybe go ahead and reveal the cover. But my hope is that book 12 will be out before the end of March this year. So again, don't hold me to that. I don't want anybody sending me evil emails being like, you're the worst, because I promise I'm doing the very best I can. But I really am starting to feel like the ideas are starting to come to me. George and I are going to start talking about it more often and going for walks. And this is part of that setting boundaries with the extra phone is I feel like to be a creative individual and to come up with those ideas of what's happening in a series world and what's happening in your writing, at least for me, and some of you who are writers here might be able to tell me whether this is true for you too, but it's like I am not very good at like compartmentalizing. So when I sit down to write, I'm still thinking about all the things that are going on in my life. And it gets very difficult for me to sit down and be like, okay, I'm going to turn off worrying that people are calling me an ignorant cow or a thief on Facebook. And I'm going to be really excited to sit and write this story. And that has been impossible for me. I just have not been able to do that. But I think part of the reason is because I'm never turning off the scrolling and the checking to see what's being said, what's happening, all of these kind of things. And I'm not saying this at all to be complaining or to dump any of this on you. I'm just saying it because this is the truth of what I've been going through. And I really can't express it any other way than bullying is what's been happening. And whether you've been bullied as well by somebody in your life or somebody online, or it's just there are difficult things going on. I mean, everybody, this is like a collective thing that we've all been going through, but it's just, we've got that global thing And then you also have the issue of your own personal life and what you're doing, right? So it's kind of it's just been really hard for me to separate those two. The creative brain is also a loud brain, I think, with all the other noises. Yeah, I think it's very difficult for me. I'm glad to see that some other people um, can't separate it. Angelia says, "OMG, do we share a brain?" Yes, I think we do, because that is it has been hard, and I'm sorry, I'm still going through it too. I really had thought that it was over, but then she just continues to post, and I can't continue to defend myself, because there's nothing to defend. Like I don't even understand what's happening, and I definitely don't want to make this live about it. But it is something that I'm dealing with, and honestly, I feel like I really want to take on internet bullying as a cause next year and start finding a good um, like nonprofit to get involved in and start giving some money and different things like that. Because yeah, so Christabelle says, I did horrible in high school because of all of the bullying. I've done a video here on this channel. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend you going and watching it. But I was very much bullied, especially like fourth and fifth grade. I had a group of girls come up. I went to a very, very small town, and I went to the same school, small town school, from kindergarten through 12th grade. And so it's like, the same people. And I had this group of like the popular girls came up to me in fifth grade and said, "You're not pretty enough to be our friend anymore." And literally for 6 months, no one spoke to me outside of what they had to in class. And so I would come out to I had to sit alone at lunch. I would go out to the playground and just sit by the fence and like pick grass and read a book. Like nobody spoke to me, and they said I wasn't pretty enough to be their friends or whatever. And that seems like, almost like looking back, it's like, oh, that's, whatever. But it really hurt my feelings, obviously. And that kind of bullying, in addition to so much more, I had so many things like that happen throughout, and it was really tough. Plus I have a narcissistic mother who, and her sister, my aunt, also bullied me. And I know I'm not comparing myself to anyone else's situations, because I know that there are people who have been through so much more than that. But being ostracized, being having people whisper and laugh when you walk down the hall, those kind of things, that is cruel. And it's one thing to go through it when you're in high school, but to be going through that as an adult who's doing so many things that I feel like I'm passionate about and hopefully helping people, and then to be bullied in that same way, or in a difficult way here, is really, really tough. And so it has kind of brought back some of those old memories. And I feel like it is time for me to like heal those old wounds and kind of move forward on it. So I think that is what this whole lesson is meant to teach. And I don't think it's going to be over in the new year. Somebody said, "Can't you send like a harassment letter or whatever?" We've sent all that stuff to her lawyer. She's just not stopping. And because I'm a public figure, there's like rules about, like, people can talk about you if you're a public figure, and they can say mean things about you, and there's really nothing you can do as long as there's not a certain line, like them threatening your health, or like threatening to beat you up. So, which there have actually been some people banned from Facebook for those threats, over the past month or so, that have been threatening me, that have been banned from Facebook. But it's like, I can't control all of it. So I'm trying to kind of step away from that and instead really invest myself with you guys, who I love so much, and to focus on our relationship, the books that I love, the rituals, the support, and all of that stuff. And that is where I'm really focused. And I actually, and sadly, Shay, I am serious. And in fact, before we left Charlotte, I almost said, before we left Charleston, we had actual things sent to our house. So there have been some scary things happening in the background, and it has just been a lot, but I'm strong and I'm making it through. And the fact that I have so many people that have rallied around me is the most important thing. And I feel like I'm becoming stronger because of it. But there are some people, particularly teens and other people that are more vulnerable, that don't have the support system that I have, that have not had as much support or resources. And if I can do anything to help bring awareness to this online, maybe that's part of what I'm meant to do, is to say, you know, here's what I've been going through. And if I can help you in any way, I will, and take it around to what's happening to me and turn it into a strength of how I can help others. And that, I think, is the best way to keep moving forward. And I think it's going to be even better. I think that that will be the way that I can help add a little bit to the world. I don't know if they started a nonprofit, but Speak Up for Leah is a thing for a YouTuber who was bullied online and ultimately lost her fight with mental health concerns last year. That is very sad. I'm going to look into that. I'm going to write that down. Thank you for that. Speak Up for Leah. I feel like that is something that is becoming more and more in my heart, is, that is a tragic thing. And there are some people that just don't have the same kind of support system. And then what do you do? If it can feel, I will admit, even though I want to move on from this so that I can talk about happy things, and I don't want to burden you guys with it, but I do think it's important to talk about. But I will even say that through some of this process for myself, I have had very dark thoughts come back to me about wanting to give up and wanting to, like, I don't know that I'm strong enough to handle this. And then I start to, lean on my support system and realize I am strong. And maybe the reason that I am going through this is so that I can stand up for people that want to, that are, they have inner strength, but they just don't have the support system that they need, so that they can know that people can, I don't know if I'm saying it right, but just so they don't feel alone, and they know that there's other people fighting for them, and that people that see them and don't see the bad things being said, they see the truth. And I think that that is very important, because I think there are a lot of young people who are feeling very alone. And so I think that's very important. And I'm not giving up, but just mental health is super important. And I think that if you want to continue to be super creative and excited and show up for other people, you have to start by taking care of yourself. And that is one of the things that I'm going to really focus on, is our community and, my own mental health outside of that. So I will tell you guys now, I'll put some stuff on my Instagram story. So follow me. If you can, follow me in both places. I have Sarah Cannon and I have a Heart Breathings one. But I'm going to share with you guys, and I'll just kind of put it out to the universe that so the 2 houses we looked at this past week were not right for us. They just weren't. They were beautiful, but just not quite right. But then a new house came on the market that I don't know if Tijuana's here, but I sent her a message showing her, it's Lee, not Leah. Okay, thank you. I sent them a message because a new house came on the market, and I have a Pinterest board called Dream Home, and I have just a few things pinned onto it. Yay, she's here. I was sending her some private messages, and she could speak up for this, but it's insane because the photos of this house that just came on the market are almost identical to the dream house I have pinned on my Pinterest board. And I got chills when I looked at it. And this new house is 5 acres and it's right by a lake. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, maybe this is our house. So we're going to see that on Monday, and you just never know. But I'm like, fingers crossed, we will see. And if it's not the right house for us, then maybe it's a sign that this is where we're meant to be. And I will keep you guys updated on that. But I will share some of those photos with you guys on Instagram. So I have not decided on, oh yeah, Renee saw it too. I made some photos that were in, what's it called? Layout, or I don't know, Canva, something, but it's something else. But anyway, to send to my realtor, because I was like, look at this, because look how close this house is. And he was like, oh my gosh, they're Geminis, they're twins. It's like twin houses. And I just think it's going to be cool. So we'll see. I would love to have it. And it's the kind of place that I think we could be like for the rest of our lives. So I will share some photos with you guys. I did not decide on a word of the year yet, but I had I think I've mentioned this probably multiple times, but Tanya Gonzalez, my spiritual coach, she does every year like a tarot forecast where you meet with her for an hour and she chooses cards for you, like reads cards for you for every month of the year. So you get a January card, a February card, and so on. And so I did that session with her this morning and it was incredible. I got chills. Like I was just like, oh my gosh, this is going to be a really good year. I really feel it. But she was telling me to really go and meditate on the word because I just haven't quite found like the perfect word. So I will keep you guys updated. K, yes, careful at flood zones. So on the realtor thing that we have, it's a 1 to 10 flood zone. And so far, all the houses we've looked at are a 1, meaning they're very unlikely to flood. But that is a very good point. Oh, yay, Jude. I'm doing mine. Joanne did hers today. I hope they were so good, you guys. Mine was very good. I'm very excited about it. And I'm going to be working with Tanya all year next year. I just signed up for an entire year of working with her in personal coaching. And I just feel like, oh, Roseanne, I always know I found my word for the year because it makes me cry and I never cry. Abound. That's a really good word. Believe. I love that, obviously. Yay. Lena did hers today too. She is great. She really is great. And she's so tuned in and it's amazing how uh like spot on she is about some things. And I will give you a little bit of encouragement that if you have any month that was like, oh, you're going to be going through hard times, it always comes out to where it's for the best and you will see that. Okay. So before we go any more with this, I don't know if there were questions, but I'm not going to answer any this week, but we can reschedule them for next week. I want to tell you guys what I do for a money manifesting ritual. And you could do this for things other than money too. I just always do this like as a focus on my career and family. And this has worked for me almost down to the like dollar for the past 2 years. And it's not just me. I will tell you, my sister came to visit me in 2019 before COVID, and she and her partner Gina sat down with me and did the circle. And I bought 3 candles, and we each did the candles. And they also had that experience that year, but not the following year. So I was like, you guys, I need for you guys to come visit me. I need for this COVID stuff to be over so we can all visit with each other again. But here's what I did. And like I said, I kind of made this up a little bit. And obviously some of it is just from knowledge that I've shared before. So you can feel free to alter it or change it. But I'm going to kind of give you a little bit of a rundown of my New Year's Eve ritual. Happy New Year, Roseanne. I'm so glad you were here. So the first thing I do is I cast a circle, and you can just Google how to cast a circle if you've never done this. You don't have to cast a circle, but I like to do it for important sort of rituals or tarot readings because it is known that if you cast this circle, it's like a circle of protection where you're protecting your energy. No other energy can come in, and it sort of amplifies your own like work that you're doing in the circle. And so the way that I like to do it is I actually put a compass app on my phone so that I know exactly which way is north, south, east, and west. And what you can do is there are multiple ways to do it. You can do just a white candle on each of the 4 points. I like to put an actual item. So east is air. So I will put a feather, but you can do anything that would work for air. So I'll put a feather on the eastern side. On the southern side is fire. So I'll put a candle that's burning. On the west side, you have water. So I will usually put a shell in the water side. And then for north, you've got earth. So I'll just put a crystal there. So those are my 4 items: feather, candle, shell, crystal. And I will put those around me. And then standing up, I will say something. I know I read this like in a book, I think once, but I will usually turn and start on the east. And I will say like, I will close my eyes and imagine. So part of the power of this whole ritual is just visualization and trying to feel it in your body, what you're envisioning with your mind. And I feel like that's kind of where the power comes from. So I will turn to the east with the feather and I will say something like, element of air, please be with me, or something like that. And imagine that my hair was blowing around, that I'm in the wind. I can feel that air around me. Then I'll turn to the south and I will say something like, element of fire, please be with me. And imagine just like fire burning up, like passionate fire, and so on throughout. So, like, imagine when I turn to the west that I can say, element of water, please be with me. And imagine just water flowing in the cool, like brook, or imagine that I can hear a waterfall, that kind of thing. Then I will say at the end of it, once I've gone, you close it, like you finish it in the north, and then you can say something along the lines of, the circle is cast, um, you know, you can say thank you or whatever. I know there are more witchy people that have been doing this a lot longer than I have here. So if you have any suggestions or corrections, please feel free. But I'll say, like, the circle is cast, and so it is. And then I'll sit down in the middle of the circle, and I don't let Andrew or anybody come into the room. I just have that like pure space for myself. Then what I like to do, I'll usually have headphones in so I can listen to just calming, like guitar music or sounds of nature or something like that. But I will take a green candle, and it can be something small like this. It can be a bigger candle if you want, this is quite big, so it's going to take you a long time to get a candle like that going. But what I will do is I'll take a knife and I will carve into this candle the year and how much money I want to make. So if you wanted to make $50,000 this year, I would carve in $50,000, and then on the other side 2022. And while, oh, you can hear Evie, I've got the baby monitor right back here. She's waking up. Hopefully George will bring her in. So I'll carve it in, and then I usually have either a road opening oil or a money drawing oil. And I think that if you look it up, you can make these on your own. And then I will put it on the candle. And while I'm doing that, I will usually just be envisioning, like, what will life be like making this amount of money next year, feeling that abundance. And usually it's not just about how much I get, but I'm also thinking about, what's the work I'm going to do in the world this year? How am I going to serve other people? How am I going to help people, change people's lives, make them feel empowered? How am I going to help promote other authors? What can I do? And that begin to feel that kind of flow. So then I will take a piece of aluminum foil and I will light the candle and then drip some of the oil on, or the candle wax onto the aluminum foil. And then I'll put the butt of the candle down into the wax so that it sits there. And then I will, oh, she's going to be here. You want to say hi? You want to say hi real quick?
Tough wake up.
A tough wake up, little girl. You want to say hello? You want to say hi? Oh, she's going to see all these candles. She might not say hi. You want to say Happy New Year? That's a no? Okay. Why don't you go wake up a little bit more? Uh-oh, Mommy got lipstick on your face. I'll see you soon, okay? She's not waking up very nice. We'll see if she'll come back if she's a little bit better in a couple of minutes. So then once this is burning and it's sitting on the aluminum foil, I will usually sprinkle cinnamon or something around it. Yeah, she just woke up. Cinnamon around it, and sometimes salt. Sometimes if I have salt that is has ocean water in it, I'll use that. And then what I do is I will take out a check. I think I have it with me. So Manifestation Babe sent this when I took her course, but you can actually just go Google blank check, like a fake blank check or something like that. And so I take this and I write out what I want to make for the year, and what, like in the little notes section, it says for or whatever, like what I did to earn that, like for service, for helping to change people's lives, for showing up for other people, those kind of things. So I'll put that amount in here, and I will put that check right, like I slide it underneath that aluminum foil for it, so it's there. Then I will usually take a little piece of like clear quartz or something, and I'll hold it in my left hand, and I will journal for a little while that candle's burning down. And I will journal about how it will feel next year. What are the kinds of things? How do I want to show up? What are the books I want to write? How will that money be coming to me? How will my career increase? And, like I said, this is what I just kind of intuitively what has come to me, although you can probably find similar things like this online. And then once I'm done with that, I will usually pull off a small piece of paper, and I've been keeping it in this little sachet this year. So I'll kind of show you what I did last year. I just take like a small piece of paper, and so it's about this size, and it says basically, thank you, universe. This was an incredible, abundant year of connection, and so on. And so I put in here exactly what I wanted to manifest. And then I folded it up and put the clear quartz that I had been holding in my hand while I was doing all that visualization, and I will wrap it up inside the piece of paper and put it into a money bowl. So I had this money bowl that I put coins and cinnamon and dollar bills into the bowl, and I left it on my desk all year long. And then when we had to move, I put it all into a little sachet, and that has been sitting kind of near my computer all year. And the check that I wrote ended up going into my tarot journal so that I could look at it every night and just say, thank you so much for bringing this to me. I also put a tiny little piece of pyrite on inside of it last year. So that is basically what I have done. And if you wanted to, you could take that candle wax and you could seal this and you could put it in something important. But for me, that was kind of what I did. Now, I also sometimes will do, and I think I've got them in here. So I'll do like a little bay leaf, and I'll write what I want to manifest on the bay leaf and also put it in the bowl. And that was kind of my money manifesting ritual that I have. And then at the end, I close the circle, and all you have to do to close the circle is just go back around. So this time you start counterclockwise, and I start in the west, south, east, and north, and just say, like, element of water, you were here and I thank you, and so forth, and go around and then say, the circle is now closed. And there are different things that I've read that people will say. The circle is now closed. Thank you for being here, or glory be to, and any kind of god or goddess, or to the Lord, whatever you want to say there. And sometimes people will say like, Mary meet, I have it written down, Mary meet and Mary part and Mary meet again. So I've read those kind of things, but you can pretty much find a lot of articles and stuff on that. But maybe that'll give some of you some ideas about what you could do. Basil is also good. Yes. And I have actually put basil in the bowl in the past. There's none probably left in this little sachet because there might be a little bit down at the bottom there. And this oil has a little bit of basil, some glitter, and it has some bay leaves in it as well. So it might give you some ideas of some things that you could do for yourself if you wanted to be focusing on bringing more abundance into your life. And it doesn't have to just be about money. It can be about just what kind of service, how do I want to add to the world this year? How do I want to bring more peace? How do I want to get rid of anxiety? There's lots of different ways that you can set those intentions. And last year, because I didn't have my sister here with me, I did this ritual with George and also had him holding the crystal for a little while and envisioning what our year would be like. And I feel like it's that intention and having that just moment to kind of be thankful, to have gratitude for the year past, and to really think, because when I was journaling, a lot of times I would also be like, I'm so grateful for these things that happened this past year. And here's how I want to grow on that and how much more I want to learn and do for next year. So hopefully I thought that might be kind of a cool way to show you guys some things. Now I do have my brand new little wand here too. So I am going to use this tonight too for part of that money ritual. It has the clear quartz on one side, and then it has the green aventurine on the other. So I'm excited to use that for the first time. I also got a very fun gift from George this year. I have it in a bag because the smell is so potent. I can't have it out. But I thought this was a very thoughtful gift because I like to use incense in my rituals. And I haven't really, because we're in rental spaces, I haven't wanted to like have those long sticks and everything. Plus, it can sometimes mess with George's allergies, but he got me this that he had seen a YouTuber using. And it's at first when I opened it, I was like, what is this? It's matchbooks. Whew, the smell for all of these, you wouldn't believe it. It's like very potent. But they're incense matches. And this is so cool. But basically, it's like a matchbook of incense. And so you can light it, you pull it off and you can light it and set it into, I've been setting it into my little mini cauldron, and it doesn't last for a long time. But if you want to use any little bit of incense in your rituals, this is really cool because it's very, very small. So it only lasts for a short period of time, but it does give you that kind of like cleansing smoke and the smell. It's really, really neat. And there are so many different kinds in here. There's coconut, there's rain, there's strawberry, it's just insane. Patchouli. It's like, I think there's 2 or 3 of each smell. But if you put your nose in this, it would be like, what? So I have to keep it in a bag because otherwise it will make our clothes smell. I don't have a link because George just gave it to me as a gift, but I will see Brooke if he can tell me where he got it. Hey, George, where did you get the incense matches? He's going to check his email and see. So this is like the bazillionth time Money Bowls has popped up for me. I'm going to make one. Definitely do it. And Money Bowls, I've talked about this before, but Money Bowls are great to continue to add to and subtract to. So don't let them go stagnant every day. Put your hand in it, change it out, take some coins out, add some more coins, add a peppermint stick, add a clear quartz, and move it around so that money is always flowing. That's why I keep it on my desk so that I can always be kind of moving it around. I also have this. I've shown you guys this before, but this came in one of the Lunam Love subscription boxes in like last quarter. But it's Pumpkin Wish, and it has a little bay leaf, and it's kind of like a little ritual candle for making a wish. So I think I'm going to use that tonight as well. I also have, this is something I got from Hex, I think, in New Orleans, but it's a little key. So when I'm doing this road opening type spell of like making more money this year, reaching more people, serving more people in the world, I'm going to use this key as well in my money bowl just to like open the key. Plus, I will say, or open the door.
I think it's incensematch.com.
He said he thinks it's incensematch.com, but he's going to look on the thing and see. But I feel like, oh man, I just had a thought in my head and now I've lost it. I hope I didn't lose it forever.
Yeah.
Incensematch.com.
Incense match.
So you can see Incense Match. Is it the incensematch.com or just Incense Match?
Incensematch.com.
So he said it's incensematch.com.
If you search for it, you can't.
If you search for it, you can't miss it. This one's Holly Berry, not to be confused with Halle Berry. They're very, very cool. It's just wow. When you have like so many different flavors, it's hard, but that was his present to me for our anniversary. And yes, very good point here. Essential oils are a good option instead of incense for those who are asthmatic or allergic. So you can always use oils instead. Or just your own intention. If you're very sensitive to smells and you can't do oils or anything, I think your own visualization and intention will work as well. But I think about that, like the gratitude, the joy, the things that I want to bring in with the work that I'm doing in the world, the community that we've built here, all of that stuff, all of those feelings. Like when I start those kind of rituals, that's what I'm thinking about, is all the good things, all the joyful things, all the things that are full of possibilities and excitement for the new year and all the things that could be. And I think that is one of the most powerful things you can do in any kind of magic, or even if you don't believe in any kind of magic and you're just trying to set intentions for your own life. It's like getting into that place of gratitude and service can make such a huge difference in what you bring to it. But I'm very excited for the new year. I feel like I am definitely going through a time of transition, and I think many of us are after everything we've been through over the last year. Oh, Joanne says they can also be found on Amazon. Um, that this is going to be a really exciting time. I did not get a chance. Oh no, gotta leave. We'll see you later too, Moana. Happy New Year's. I did not get a chance to really talk today about 6 months for life, but this is something that I'm restarting coming up. So I'm hoping to have a video, and just let me know if you guys still want to see vlogs on that. We do have a 6 months for life channel that we've had going for the past 6 months over on Discord. If you want to come join it, there have been some requests to separate that out to people that are losing weight versus just regular talk about changing your life, just because weight loss can be a trigger for some people. So expect that to be coming in the new year, that there will be a kind of like food and weight loss channel for 6 months for life versus a channel that's more for just like getting your life together and making changes. So we can kind of separate that out a little bit for anybody that doesn't want to see about weight loss stuff. I want to be very conscientious of that, because I know that's a hard topic for some. But yes, okay. So I'm seeing definitely some people that want to see some of those vlogs and things. I am excited to share that with you guys. I am going back on Bright Line Eating this next coming week. I'm doing the program called Reboot Resume. So I will share that with you guys as well. Maybe not as much, just because it is food related here, but once we start that channel in Discord, I will share it over there. And there is a 2022 planner lineup coming. For those of you that didn't see it on my Heart Breathings channel, my last planner that I ordered is MIA. We live in an apartment, and so we've had 2 packages stolen and 1 package that has gone MIA, and that is my most recent Erin Condren thing. So I need to message them and let them know that it didn't come. So yes, Bright Line Eating. So I'm excited for that. I know that it can be a tricky topic though, so I want to make sure that the videos are clearly labeled if I'm going to be talking about food and stuff. And I know Bright Line Eating is not for everybody, but I'm excited because it has worked for me in the past, and I think it'll be really supportive for me. But anyway, that is our time today. If I haven't told you enough, and if you don't know, I am eternally grateful for all of you. This has been such a crazy 2 years of us going live here on YouTube, and just this community, the amount of support, not just for me, but for each other. It just means so much. And having these conversations is so much fun. And I hope that we continue it in the new year. I am definitely wishing you all so many blessings in the new year, so much joy. I will keep you updated to how the house hunt is going, 6 months for life, planners coming up. But other than that, I will see you again next Friday, and most Fridays coming up in 2022. So super grateful. I love you guys. Thank you for being here, and I will see you in 2022. I can't believe it. Happy New Year, y'all. I love you. Bye.